Hey guys, I am a very tired Wally. Super tired. You have no idea. The amount of energy. Let me go ahead and describe something real quick. Alright, so, I'm a vampire, right? Superhero. People call me superhero a lot. I'm not a superhero, just a guy. But I can do a lot of cool stuff. And I'm pretty cool. You know. And I know a lot of stuff about spirituality, and I'm also like, I don't know, whatever. But the amount of energy that I'm using right now just to block people out and to be like right now, I have the ability, I'm using the ability to be in almost complete denial that of anything besides me just kind of being blank and numb and just a regular dude. If you were to come up to me and ask me like, "Hey man, are you just a regular dude?" I'd be like, "Yeah, why wouldn't I be?" And like, I would like truly believe that. Anyway, I would be telling the truth. Like by all means. Besides, like I would be telling the truth. Like if you were to ask me right now, are you a regular dude? Depending on the person asking me, if it was like a real thing. I'm just saying I'm in complete denial of a lot of things. Using supernatural abilities to be in denial. Why am I doing that? Because it's freaking great. It's a great freaking ability. It's a vampire ability. I go numb. It's part of being a vampire. Now, this video series is about spreading positive awareness of nice vampires and of myself. And just, I want to say a couple things. I'm not just a regular vampire. I'm pretty cool, I think, as far as vampires go. I don't know. Obviously, I don't. I'm not going. I've already, other videos talked about like whatever. Talked about only meeting like a handful of vampires. Not, I didn't really like them. Basically, yeah, not my cup of tea. I'm pretty sworn to being a good guy because I think well, I know, you know, I'm telling the truth. I'm talking about being in denial and oh, I would not tell the truth. And like that's probably should watch what I say as far because I'm saying right now at this time alone, speaking to an imaginary. Let me not even go off. Let me just say, speak plainly. Like there are things like I have values and rules and like code of conduct. You know, not just going around and just like, hey, we just be in denial and lie. No, I'm not doing that. That's not right. Now, am I saying that I'm special because I mean there's people who are, you know, it's a normal person thing, right? At times, but I'm just saying that I'm using vampire abilities. Just block everything out. And I probably, Anyways, I'm tired. Uh, I feel like really intense spiritual pressure, and that's okay. But I know that I just need to rest, and I'll be fine. It should be fine, right? Like I feel like my presence, like spiritual, my energy that I give off, my aura, my vampire abilities, all the alpha male things, whatever is intensifying. It's growing. It's I'm developing. I'm growing. Same old story. Nothing new. Just but yeah. I watched that Frankenstein movie on Netflix, the newest one. It's really good, and I picked up on a lot of things. Talking about being the monster, and then the monster. All he could think about is his creator, and saw his self as a monster and as a curse. It's like a curse. But then he confronted his maker several times. The person who did that to him, made him a monster. And the journey of his journey was Frankenstein, the monster. His journey was, he developed and he grew and he learned. And there's some lessons in the movie that I think is actually pretty great. And one of the lessons was that he was, he wasn't the monster, but the person who did bad things to him to make him a monster was the real monster. And because Frankenstein, the monster, because he went through so much and had such a tough journey that, somewhere, I don't remember exactly. I think I blocked it out because it was kind of like, I don't know, kind of real. Maybe it's one of those things, how the brain blocks things out or whatever. But I heard in a movie said, by being okay, I remember now. Like there's a female who told him that um, I'm paraphrasing, but something like because you're a monster, because you believe that, sometimes the people who believe that are themselves pure, purified, pure of heart. I was like, wow. And she saw that right away. When he was in his worst, most basic, when he's freshly created, Frankenstein the monster, she saw that right away. And she knew that she wanted to protect him right away. I was thinking about that, all of that. I was thinking about all that in the movie. I was thinking about all that, like, a couple days. I got a really bad headache. It's like the reason why I block things out in particular, besides the actual like spiritual, the the vampire inside of me kind of lets me take it in slowly, like the experiences and the thoughts, not some the memories, if you will, and the realizations, because otherwise it's just very overwhelming for me personally. And I, my preference is to not be, you know, overwhelmed. So, and I've learned how to do that. And maybe it's just maturity. Maybe it's, again, I'm blocking a lot of things out. But I want to say, maybe it's just God, my faith. But, I'm careful talking about, well, I'm careful talking about a lot of things right now because I don't want to get overwhelmed or thinking about, things that I'm still processing. Because, spirituality and spiritual stuff, that it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot for me because, because it is not easy. One of the things I've learned is that things, events, situations, life, when certain things in life happen, changes you. It affects who you are. And, I have some experiences that are, I have experienced some things that are significant enough that I It takes time. It takes time. Like a lot of time sometimes for me, depending on how powerful or difficult to understand. So yeah, I'm doing all right. It's just I'm at that point. I feel like I'm starting a new chapter, another new chapter in my life. I feel it's like I know that I need to adapt. I do want to mention one thing, which I'm speaking weird right now, just because of like it's like I as I'm talking, like the vampire inside of me is like altering my thoughts so that I can continue and maintain a balance. Blocking shit. It's like I'm doing two things right, or like three things right now. It doesn't look like I'm doing anything, but I'm like blocking shit out, blocking people out, whatever. Sorry. So today there was a letter, on my apartment door. I was like, oh shit, letter. That's not good. Well, I went to I looked at it. I said, oh shit, this is the I guess this is the mail that I've been waiting for, the very important mail that was supposed to be delivered to me in my mailbox, and I guess it got put into the wrong mailbox or something. But what it was a check for $8,000 for my bankruptcy. What they did was they froze my accounts, processed my money, took money away, and then said, okay, you can keep this much. After everything's said and done, you can keep this much. I said, oh shit, somebody found this check for $8,000, went out of their way to find my apartment, and they put that check for $8,000 right there, because they opened it up to see what it was. I said, oh, it could just be it could be nothing. It's just somebody said, oh, it could be many reasons. Just maybe a person would just be like, oh, but I like to think it has something to do with my good, the good um, popularity, the fame, the good of what I'm known for. I like to think that. I could think of a lot of things. I want to think that like someone's like, oh shit, I know this guy. I've heard, or maybe they gave it to the you know somebody who's in charge of the apartments or whatever, and the person's like, oh shit, I know this guy. He's a pretty good dude. I like to think again. And they're like, yep, gotta help this guy out. I don't know why I like to think that. I could think of many different things, but that specifically makes me feel good. And I think that's maybe a part of me right now wants to be recognized in a good way. Maybe I need that right now, which I usually don't. Usually I don't want that because of, what I'm talking about, being overwhelmed and all of that. Yeah. So, yeah, I'll just be honest. I've got that feeling. Uh, I know from experience, talking about the whole new chapter thing, I'm like, when I get this very specific feeling where my body's saying, hey, man, you have pushed past your limits. You're out of your comfort zone. In fact, you are so out. You have gone so outside of your comfort zone that I don't know what to do. That's what my body's saying. My body's like, I have no experience. Good luck. Figure it out because this is uncomfortable. Good luck. Good luck. You seem to know what you're doing, but that part of my brain that's like, you know, it's like part of my brain's looking for experience. It's like trying to look and say, hey, I know what to do. And my brain's like, nope, no idea. You've never done this before, is what it's telling me. But, I think, it's a very normal thing for people. I would like to think that at least. I think that's true. And I'm the kind of person, I mean, I've pretty much dedicated my part. I'm not saying dedicated my life is pretty strong language, but I have pretty much dedicated my life to not going backwards, you know, which you can't, I kind of made that realization as I can't go backwards. You can try to, whatever, my brain's like, well, I definitely kind of want to. I figure it out. But it's like, no, brain, like, don't do that. No, forward, onwards. Because, and, I don't know if it's just, I know this is a thought process that many people, myself included, really enjoy. I think this is just a normal human thing. It's like, man, oh man, do I like, cons- uh, what's the word? Consistency? Consistency, I think that's the right word. Man, oh man, do I like consistency and things going the same way. But being a vampire and being that's part of it. It's like pushing me forward. But I think really what's doing it for me, so there are a lot of people in my life that are like, hey bro, I'm gonna go ahead and give you a little push. I'm like, no, why you gonna push me? And it's like, I don't like, okay, look, I've had some bad experiences, right? So like one of the things I don't like is being pushed into a swimming pool, right? It's one of those things. I'm like, man, if anybody pushes me into a swimming pool, I'm gonna get so upset. That's the feeling though. If you ever had that happen, and there are a lot of people who are like, all right, well, he's just kind of standing there by the edge of the water. I'm just gonna whoopsie, pushing him into the swimming pool. No, he knows how to swim, right? Yeah, he knows how to swim. Whoops. Which is like literally, like I'm being, I don't care. I don't care anymore. I'm just gonna say it's literally the story of my life. Whoops. Dude, like pushed into a swimming pool. And I want to say it's like, oh, I didn't want this. Oh, blah 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 blah. But I was standing right by the swimming pool. I was standing at the edge of that swimming pool, being an asshole, metaphorically speaking. It was just a matter of time and the amount of assholeness within me, and the amount of assholeness I was projecting outwards into the world before someone said whoops, before someone was just like, you know what, yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and push that guy in the water. And every time, every time that's happened, it's like, well, I guess. See, like, I'm starting to get overwhelmed. I'm trying to block it out because I want to say every time I got pushed into the water or pushed, or whatever, that that don't want to think about things. It's like all the spirituality, like all of the start thinking about the higher purpose, higher cause, higher reasoning, higher things, spiritual stuff, blah 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 blah. And laws of nature. And all I can really do, because I've got, you know I keep myself you know I'm, I've trained myself to have the same response, and that's just to shake my head. Because for about 5 minutes when I'm in that swimming pool, I'm just shaking my head. Then afterwards, after the 5 minutes, and I feel like I'm in the 5 minutes right now, so to speak. That 5 minutes of shaking my head. I'm like, well, all my clothes are wet. My phone, I didn't even like that phone, anyways. So, yeah, I'm in that. I'm in that shaking head period of time, and that's a good signal and indicator for me that, all right, ready to start a new chapter. Got to accept it instead of being in denial. I'm like, all right. And then I look back and I'm like, well, I guess I was being an asshole. Anyways, super overwhelmed. I'm gonna go rest. I appreciate y'all for watching, and till next time.